Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make straight your paths. It's time to get stupid. And I'm talking get real stupid. Get to the point where everyone in this world thinks you are an idiot. Get to the point in this world where someone will look at you and think you have got to be the dumbest person alive. And I'm saying in this world, not in the spirit. Because in the spirit, someone will look at you and recognize, hey, that person is really wise. But someone in this world, someone in this flesh will look at you and think that you have got to be the biggest idiot to walk on this planet because you want to get right with God and you want to stop relying on your own understanding and start leaning on God. And those people that think you're stupid, they're the ones that are actually stupid according to 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 19 here. For the wisdom of this world is folly with God, for it is written, he catches the wise in their craftiness. And again, the Lord knows the thoughts of the wise, that they are futile. The wisdom of this world is folly with God. It means nothing. You can have all these philosophies, you can have all these different approaches to life. Doesn't mean anything. It's stupid. It's folly. You are an idiot. Biblically speaking, you are a fool. You are an idiot if you rely on the world, if you rely on your flesh. And this is one of those hard truths you can't sugarcoat because the Bible doesn't sugarcoat it. It flat out calls you stupid for relying on your own understanding. Because truth be told, that's what you are. And this is coming from someone who was once stupid, but God decided to make wise. And then we take a step back to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 20 here. Where is the one who is wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the debater of this age? Has not God made foolish the wisdom of the world? God has made foolish the wisdom of the world. God has made it so we, like all of our philosophies, our way of thinking, the way we want to do things, the way we want to think, the way we want to view our lives and our reality, it's stupid. It's in vain. It means nothing. It serves zero purpose. Like all these philosophies, like atheism, like we're just a bunch of accidents. Like all these cells got together and boom, us. You're stupid. You're stupid. Like in the most loving way possible, you don't know what you're talking about. Like I don't know how else to put this. It drives me nuts when people think that. When people support, you can have your own worldview, you can have this way of thinking, it's completely valid. No, it's not valid. You shouldn't have your own way of thinking. That's how you get killed. I made a video a couple of days ago talking about if you tell someone to go do what they want, that's essentially telling them to kill themselves spiritually. That still applies here. This whole thing where you're where people decide to lean on their own understanding, people decide to see things through the eyes of sin, because they're slaves to sin, that makes them stupid. They have all of this wisdom, they read the catechism in the Catholic Church, they read where the Orthodox equivalent is, they read all these Greek philosophers. It means nothing. I have my catechism and Catholic study Bibles for the sake of refuting it with the actual Bible. I'm just sick and tired of just going around and just people thinking that you can just think whatever you want and do whatever you want and it's completely valid and fine. It's not. I mean, the past couple of days I've been having to put up with this where it's people oh no, you shouldn't have to tell people that. You shouldn't go up to people and tell them all your views are wrong, you're going to hell and all that. And yes, there is a level we have to preach heaven because you can't preach hell without heaven. You can't preach heaven without hell, because if you preach about hell, there's okay, what's the point of anything that? And you can't preach heaven without acknowledging, hey, there's you're able to go to heaven because you're being saved from hell and all that. Yeah. But my main focus here is just it's okay to call people stupid if they believe this, because the Bible does. And yes, you should still speak with love and kindness, but at the end of the day, that person's foolish. There's no other way to put it. That's a biblical term. They're a fool if they believe in this stuff. They're a fool if they have the wisdom of the world. They're wise if they have the wisdom of God. It's plain as that. First Corinthians chapter 2, verse 5 here, so your faith might not rest in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Put your faith in God, not in men. Don't sit there and be like, oh, this scholar that graduated from Harvard says this, so it must be true. He doesn't know anything, okay? The only reason why we know stuff, the only reason why we have any kind of wisdom is because of God. And God, again, we talk about his sovereign will, we talk about free will not being real, so it's honestly just these people, we can preach to them, we can pray to them. End of the day, that's still God's will. We don't know who his elect are, we don't know who's gonna be saved, so go out there, preach the truth, preach it with love, but just sorry, this is something where I used to have a lot of wisdom in the world, and nowadays I'm just dealing with a lot of people who think all this stuff's okay, and it's just kind of trying my best not to just blow up in their face and just yell at them, because I know that wouldn't be speaking in love, but just it's one of those things where just I don't know if it be considered righteous anger, but I'm going off on a side tangent here. Put your faith in God, not in man. Like, rely on the wisdom of God, not the wisdom of man, because the wisdom of man is folly. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Do not be conformed to this world. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Discern what is the will of God. That is all wisdom. Not conforming to the world and being transformed by the renewal of your mind, that comes from God. Well, all of this comes from God, but those especially come from God, because once you start conforming to the world, once you stop conforming to the world, that means God's set you free from sin and starting to enslave you to Christ. And the renewal of your mind, that's being sanctified, that's being enslaved to Christ, and discerning what is the will of God. That's just being an obedient slave. That's just saying, hey, what's my master want from me? What should I be doing with my life? For example, last night I asked if I should reapply to Target, and very clearly just no. And I'm like, okay, guess not Target. That's a weird example, but this is just something where a lot of people I know out there struggle with this daily, of just having to put up with all these people who think they're wise in their own eyes, but truth is they don't know anything. They're foolish, they're stupid, biblically speaking, and I say that with love. I'm not sitting there like, oh, they're stupid, they're idiots. That means you can disrespect them as much as possible. That means you don't have to pay attention to them. Pay attention to them. Don't care at all what they say, because it's not true, but just destroy every argument. Here, where's that verse about bring down every lofty opinion? 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive to obey Christ. So that last part there, that's the renewal of your mind, where for me, every day I have thoughts about lust, I have thoughts about pride and wrath, and just wanting to serve my own selfish desire, and I acknowledge I have to take those thoughts captive and just obey Christ, and just that means right away from lust. That means praying to God to humble me, and also just going to my Bible so I have peace, and just essentially going to God for everything, because that's part of not relying on your own understanding. You go to God for everything, because truth is you don't really know anything. God knows everything, and the reason why you know anything at all is because of God. God gave you that. But right here, we destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God. We should do that with love, but at the end of the day, that's still a lofty opinion, and it's against the knowledge of God. We still have to destroy it. I have a video about being gentle and firm. I'll probably make another video about being gentle and firm in the future. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, God willing. I hope so. But yeah, just stop conforming to the world. It's not worth it. I did it for around 15 years of my life. I conformed to the world. It was one of the worst things you'll ever do, just conforming to the world, and that got me into a bunch of fights. That got me to fall into lust all the time. I'm a testimony video. I talked about 4.5 years of just having a porn addiction. That was not fun, and it wasn't until God saved me a little over a year ago that that finally stopped. And I'm very open about the fact I still struggle with lust, but yeah, just you can't conform to this world. You have to conform to God. You have to just be transformed always. You have to be sanctified always by God. That's all I can really give you. And again, with these people who think they're wise in their own eyes, gently but firmly tell them they're wrong. God bless.